Hey there, it's me, Eden. If you are new to the channel, then please subscribe to my channel and visit my Patreon page for early access. Link in the comment, thanks. Happy holidays? The Holdings made the trip to the children's hospital without me, in spite of our earlier plans. Sarah Beth and her mom stopped off to see Roberta, who was out of the cardiac care unit and thriving. Sarah Beth told me later, though, that Roberta was sad not to have her silly friend Annie come to visit. The news from Sarah's tests was wonderful, though. It confirmed that there was no more cancer. They recommended 3-month checkups for the first 2 years, followed by 6-month checkups for the next several years just to be sure. By mid-November, Sarah Beth's bald scalp was starting to get fuzzy again. That and the positive checkup gave us something to be thankful for. Sarah's friendship with Joni seemed to be going well. I was really startled one day to go into Sarah's room and see her and Joni sitting there, with Sarah's artificial leg propped in the corner and her wig on the wig stand. Sarah is a private person, and up to this point I had been the only teenager in Fort Russell to see her without these items. That meant that in addition to just being friends with Joni, Sarah was really coming to trust her emotionally. We had the traditional Thanksgiving dinner at our house, and then about 6, I went over to the Holdings to raid the pies. Julie was home, along with her roommate Karen. I hadn't met Karen before as Mark, and as we were introduced, I watched her face carefully for signs of recognition. She just smiled and asked about my sister, who Julie had explained was out of town visiting relatives. Julie pulled me aside a little later. "How is Annie, really?" I sighed. Annie hasn't been around much lately. Both sets of parents have been discouraging her coming around. Julie looked pensive. Don't they think that there might be some sort of connection between Sarah's sadness and Annie's disappearance? I guess not, I said. Actually, though, the doctor said that this kind of letdown is normal. I just wish I knew how long it would last. Well, if there's anything I can do to help, you know I'll do it. Julie had that determined look on her face, her game face, on the basketball court, the same look I saw when she first talked me into becoming Annie. The weather closed in, so my bike riding season was over. I still helped Sarah with her exercise routine. We Christmas shopped together. With Mr. Holding out on the road, I helped the Holdings put up their outside Christmas decorations. School was, well, school. A few kids acted like jerks around Sarah, making stupid comments, but Sarah was getting good at ignoring them or coming back at them. One nice thing about all this, she told me one day. No more PE. So now the coaches don't wonder out loud why I'm not athletic like my sister anymore. The best part for me was to see her strength and appetite return as the chemotherapy drugs filtered out of her system. Still, though, she was blue. The Holdings celebrate Christmas on Christmas Eve, and the Jansens on Christmas morning. So Sarah and I get to do the unwrapping and family togetherness thing twice in 12 hours. We gave each other some favorite CDs. I gave Sarah a necklace at her house, and she gave me a Nike winter coat to replace my dying one. When we were alone, Sarah asked me, "Did you like those dresses that Julie and I gave each other?" They were beautiful, I agreed, a simple soft knit, Julie's a soft green and Sarah's a soft maroon. I ordered them online. I ordered one for Annie, too, in blue. I guess that I should send it back and get Mark something more practical. I hesitated. I don't think that Sarah had mentioned Annie in more than a month, except in remembering earlier times. I felt discouraged that both of our fathers had tried to convince me that Annie shouldn't come back. No, I told her, grabbing her hand. Keep it. Keep it for Annie. Sarah's father had been home for Christmas, but New Year's Eve found him somewhere in the Midwest, eastern Iowa, I think. My folks always play cards with some of their friends on New Year's Eve, so I decided to spend the evening with the Holdings. Julie was there, too. They both wore the gorgeous dresses that Sarah and Julie had given each other at Christmas. We were finishing a video with Sarah leaning her head on my shoulder when Julie said, "It's a shame that Annie can't be with us this evening. She meant so much to us this year." Their mother spoke up. "Julie, we all loved Annie, but maybe it's time to move on. You know what your father would think." "Yes, I know, but he's not here, is he?" Julie responded. Her mother squirmed. "No, he's not. But that doesn't mean that you should be doing things behind his back. Besides, Mark may want to be Mark. You two keep putting him on the spot. Don't Mark's feelings count?" "Sure, they count," Sarah said. "More than anybody else's in the world to me. Mark, you never have to be Annie again. But if you would enjoy being Annie tonight, it would be fun to see the three of us in these outfits, wouldn't it?" She smiled. "Sure," I found myself saying. "I'm sort of in an Annie mood tonight, if it's okay with you, Mrs. H." "Go ahead, I guess, if it's really okay with you, Mark." So I went to Sarah's bathroom, slipped on my padded undies and bra, applied foundation, painted my nails blue, of course, given the dress, and when they dried, slipped on the smooth, soft blue dress. We did look good together, and we were all laughing and joking the rest of the evening. "If I stay as Annie until a minute after midnight," I said, "I can say that I was Annie for 2 years." So that was the plan. I was enjoying being Annie again, and Sarah was having more fun than she had in months. We all hugged and kissed as the clock struck 12. Then, a few minutes after, when I was just about ready to go change, the doorbell rung. I was thunderstruck to see Dad and Mom when Mrs. Holding opened the door. They were thunderstruck to see Annie. "We thought we would come by to see if Mark wanted a ride home," my dad said. I wasn't sure whether he was ready to cry or shout. He just talked so very softly. But I guess we were wrong. Mark isn't here. Could it be that Annie's first visit of the new year would be her last? These aren't all the emails we sent when I was grounded, actually, there were hundreds, but they are enough to tell the story. Mark. To sarahbh@ftrust.net, jupster1@westview.edu. From markinge@ftrust.net. Date, 1/1. Subject, grounded. Hi, Sarah and Julie. Yep, it hit the fan. This is just to let you know that my dad grounded me for the whole month of January. I had never promised him not to be Annie again, but he still felt I broke our agreement. So outside of school and church and going places with Mommy and Daddy, I'm under house arrest. Even phone calls are limited. He didn't think about email, though, winky face. Sarah, he did say that I could come over after school MWF for your therapy/workouts, but I have to call him FRM home every time I get back, so he can check me on caller ID. Or caller ID, since I seem to be the family dog now. I guess this Annie thing freaks him totally, more THN I thought. I guess I won't protest, maybe get off for good behavior. Maybe he won't recognize passive-aggressive when he sees it. Oh, well. We survived all those weeks at the hospital. I guess we can survive this. To markinge@ftrust.net. From sarahbh@ftrust.net. Date, 1/1. Grounded. I miss you already, lover. And I'm so sorry for talking you into being Annie last night. Please forgive me. You don't have to be Annie anymore, ever again, if you don't want to. I won't ask anymore. I guess because your folks talked to my folks, they wanted us to get rid of Annie's stuff. Julie and I made a compromise with them. They're hauling it all up to her room now, so it won't be so tempting. As if that was the problem. And I am really sorry for playing with your brain about this Annie stuff. It's just that your brain is
so
cute. Be a good little soldier, I guess. Love ya bunches. Sarah. To markinge@ftrust.net. From jupster1@westview.edu. Date 1/1. Grounded. Mark, you are the nicest guy in the world, and I will love for you to be my brother-in-law. I wouldn't hurt you for anything, but I keep doing it. I am really sorry for bringing the whole Annie thing up last night. I didn't know your dad would go up in smoke and you would go down in flames. I know it's easier to forgive Sarah Beth, but forgive me, too, okay? I also promise that I won't talk you into being Annie again. I'm glad you have email. I'll try to send you letters to prison, okay? Julie the Hoopster. To sarahbh@ftrust.net, jupster1@westview.edu. From markinge@ftrust.net. Date 1/2. Hey. It's okay. Thanks, both. Hey. You needn't grovel so much. I made the decision to be Annie that night, you didn't twist my arm. And thanks for salvaging Annie's stuff. No matter what our dads think, Annie will be back. I like her, too. She's part of our lives, and someday they'll have to come to terms with that, or they'll lose their son. See ya at school tomorrow, Sarah. 2 days apart are more than I can deal with. Love, Mark P.S. Thanks, Julie. Keep writing. To markinge@ftrust.net. From jupster1@westview.edu. CC, sarab@ftrust.net. Date, January 2nd. Hey. It's okay. Thanks, Mark. I'm glad you don't hate me. I know you couldn't hate my kid sister for more than 10 minutes at a time. I'm glad to host Annie's stuff in my room, so anytime you have the urge, that you can get away with it, jump into my closet and jump out as Super Annie. But one thing scares me. What did you mean they'll lose their son? That scares me. Should it? Whoops, gotta go. To markinge@ftrust.net. From sarab@ftrust.net. CC, jupster1@westview.edu. Date, January 2nd. Hey. It's okay.
Yeah,
me, too. What did you mean? I don't want anybody to lose you. To jupster1@westview.edu. From markinge@ftrust.net. CC, sarab@ftrust.net. Date, January 2nd. Hey. It's okay. Sorry. I was getting melodramatic. I'm not suicidal or anything crazy like that. I have too much to live for, and her initials are SBH. No, I just meant that next month I'm 18, and as much as I love my parental figures, I could move out and make it on my own if I don't get Dad past his hang-ups about Annie. Say hi to Karen for me, Jupster. And what do you mean, whoops? To markinge@ftrust.net. From jupster1@westview.edu. CC, sarab@ftrust.net. Date, 1/03. Guess who knows? Thanks, Mark. Big relief. You're so mild-mannered, like Clark Kent, that you're not used to big blow-ups with your folks. I'm a veteran, given my temper. All you Jansons are basically cool, you'll get through it okay. Sorry to tell you this, Mark/Annie. I said whoops because my incredibly tall, light-footed roommate had come up behind me and read my email over my shoulder. You should have seen her face when she came up with the conclusion that you're Annie. When I told her the whole story, though, she was completely impressed with you, as I am. Don't worry, she's on our side. She wants to see Annie again sometime, though. And she dropped this broad hint that she wants to come to your wedding. Speaking of that, how are things going in wedding bell plans? Starting to snow here. Gotta go to BB practice before we get snowed in. Big game tomorrow night. 2. markinge@ftrust.net, jupster1@westview.edu. From sarab@ftrust.net. Date, January 4th. The plot thickens. Thanks, Mark. I loved being with you at school today, except it makes me realize how much I miss you when we can't be together. Thanks for explaining there that nobody was going to lose you. Even thanks for taking me through the therapy regimen today in the dungeon exercise room. Wasn't I good at sneaking the clear nail polish past Mom so we could do your toenails? You are good at being passive-aggressive. Your dad may suspect, but won't know for sure.
Ha, ha, ha.
Julie, the snow's starting here now, coming down off the mountains. And tell Karen I would love to have her in my wedding, whenever it might be, and not just attending, really in it, like you will be. But tell her that Mark is going to be Mark for the wedding, not Annie. He'll wear a tux, not a wedding gown. 2. jupster1@westview.edu, sarab@ftrust.net. From markinge@ftrust.net. Date, January 4th. The plot more thickening every thickened. Sarah's right, but I won't guarantee what color my toenails will be. Giggle then. Hey. This snows something. 2. sarab@ftrust.net, jupster1@westview.edu, cupster3@westview.edu. From markinge@ftrust.net. Date, January 5th. Hi, gals. Since you know my secret now, Karen, I'll include you, too, at least once in a while. I second what Sarah said. Please be in our wedding. That jupster/cupster/hoopster email name business is just too cute for words, by the way. Do other team members do that too? Hey, I saw on the sports that your women's varsity won its game. Did you get playing time? I really feel in prison now. My only time away is to go to school, and school's closed because of snow. I just wish we had real-time chat on our ISP. I told Sarah this in school yesterday, but I'm more and more sure that I want us to get married this summer. We've both been approved for scholarship now. Mine isn't as much as I hoped, but the Cameron Trust Scholarship will be there for Sarah. We just don't have the exact amount yet. By the way, thanks, Julie, for the research and URLs on the good TG informational sites. Some say you have to be 18 to enter, and I won't until next month. But Annie's over 18, right? They're helping me understand more, and helping me calm some of my fears about why Annie is so important to us. Now if I can just calm Dad's. 2. sarab@ftrust.net, jupster1@westview.edu. From markinge@ftrust.net. Date, January 7th. Bleary-eyed. So now it's Saturday and I'm still in solitary. Well, I'll see you tomorrow a.m. at church, Sarah Bear. It's funny that in the time I'm supposed to be reflecting on the error of my ways, I'm becoming convinced that you two bringing Annie into my life was a wonderful gift. Even though I can't look like Annie right now, she's still real inside me, just as real as when those long acrylic blue nails that rattled my keyboard when I kept my journal at Hope Haven. Annie is a lot of good things inside me that were always there, but I didn't have a name for them before. Yes, Julie. I've been hitting those websites you sent me and thinking and praying. Now it's time to go outdoors and shovel some more on the driveway. Mark and NIE, Drew Jansen. 2. markinge@ftrust.net. From jupster1@westview.edu, cupster3@westview.edu. CC, sarab@trust.net. Date, 1/08. Thanks, Marco Polo. Glad you liked the websites. Wish we could be with you and the family at church today. We're really snowed in still, but we should still be able to get out of town by Tuesday for the next game. BTW. When you've served your sentence, Mark, why don't you and SB come visit us again? Or should I say Annie and SB? I can reserve the women's jock dorm guest room again if you come as Annie. How's about February 13th? It'll be a belated birthday present for Annie and an early one for Sarah. Okay. Attaching another website you may find interesting. To markinge@trust.net. From sarab@trust.net. Date, 1/08. Bleary-eyed. Mark, love, please forgive me, but I just meddled big time. I hope your dad isn't furious with me. I hope you're not furious with me. I called your dad and talked with him. I thought maybe I could say some things that you couldn't. I really did try to be nice and polite, honest. I told him that I loved him and that I was really going to love being his daughter-in-law. Then I told him that he was being totally unfair grounding you. I told him that he was so lucky to have as a son somebody who didn't drink, smoke, or do drugs, and that his not liking Annie was his problem, not yours, because Annie saved my life. Anyway, he was nice enough not to yell at me, but I hope he doesn't think you put me up to it. Anyway, if I messed things up again, I'm sorry. Love ya. SB. To Jupster1@westview.edu, sarab@trust.net, Cupster3@westview.edu. From markinge@trust.net. Date, January 10th. Please subscribe for the next part. And visit my Patreon page for early access.